everybody, and welcome aboard the Fun Ship Pillow Talk. I'm Pugs Moran. We do this each and every night at 10 o'clock till about midnight, and then we come back again after a good and restful night's sleep. Come back and do it at noon for what we call High Noon with Pugs and Company. Let's bring in the company. There we are. Wait. Hey, there's James. Hi, James. How are you?
Hey, I'm right here. Good to see you.
Good to see you over there. Hey,
high five. Can we do
that?
that?
Was say, high five.
Hey.
Wait, here. We'll try one more time. Watch. A little trickery involved here. Okay, here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. High five.
Oh, wow. That worked so good.
1, 2, 3. High five. Okay, we could do that honestly, we could just probably do that for an hour and just do different things. And that would be fun for nobody except you and me. You and me, make no mistake. That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be like
crazy
something.
How fun that is. Just doing the Brady Bunch thing is hilarious. When I was doing it with Emil and you earlier, God.
Yeah, we just, we got to do things. Got to do things to have fun. Sometimes. Excuse me. Speaking of sunglasses, I got no idea where sunglasses is at the moment.
It's got a life.
Well, I see the light on in the studio room, so that means he's up there because it's on. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Look at him down there. It's sunglasses. Hey, should we show sunglasses what we just invented? What's going on with your microphones?
No, I'm fine. Let's do the high five.
All right, watch what James and I just created. Watch. Hey, dude, how bad?
That was close.
1, 2, 3. Hey, I'm not slapping my thigh hard enough. Here, let me get it up this way. Hey, James, high five. All right.
Oh my
God. That's good. That's good.
Thigh.
Can you see my? I'm trying to.
A little bit, little thigh there.
There it is. There it is.
That's for you, ladies.
Gotta hit that. It's a little something for the females.
You're welcome, ladies. You're welcome.
All right, I'm not hearing you great.
Who, me? Me?
Yeah, maybe give yourself a little more sound.
Okay, I can turn myself up. Definitely. Hang on.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
That's with some levels here. Is that better?
That's a little better. Let me hear you. Sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound good. I was gonna text James. I was gonna say, let's just both wear sunglasses and see if we can suddenly make it uncool for sunglasses to not wear sunglasses. Because if everybody's doing it, then then we're just the douchebag sunglass show. He's not original, unique, or interesting at that point.
All right, so my wife's not watching this. I want to run something by you guys first.
Okay.
So my wife swears that she can't drink swill vodka. We have to get at least Tito's or Grey Goose, but she can't have Taka or even like Smirnoff or
nothing in a plastic bottle. She will not drink the plastic bottle vodka.
All right, so I took a Grey Goose bottle that was almost empty, and I filled it back up with some plastic bottle vodka. I'm gonna report back to you dudes very soon, probably on Monday.
Does she drink it straight or does she mix it?
She mixes it, so she probably won't be able to tell.
Yeah, no, she won't be able to tell. You're just throwing money away.
But this isn't the first time in my life I've done this experiment. I had a roommate, Scotty, and we happened to have the apartment that was sort of centrally located with our friends, and it became the place where people would just come over and start drinking your stuff. And so we used to swap out in a Belvedere bottle the Taka or Skull. I think it was the cheapest option at the liquor store at the time. And no one ever said anything.
In the crooked bar business, when I used to bartend all those many years ago, we used to call that marrying down. When you would have the fancy bottles, and then you just go buy cheap liquor that was sort of like that liquor, and you would marry the bottles together, and you'd put the cheap stuff in the good bottles, and nobody ever knew. And it was highly illegal, by the way. That's why the bottles have the stamps on them. The top of a liquor bottle has that like
the TABC stamp or whatever.
Well, we don't call it a TABC stamp. There's like a regulatory body that does it that isn't the TABC. But yeah, it was a big. But I grew up in a city where it was all mobsters, and everybody crooked owned bars, so everybody did it.
Is your wife's complaint the taste or the morning after hangover?
It's both, actually. Wow.
Why is there a distinction there, E? I don't drink vodka, I don't know. I think
Well,
it's
a
gross.
lot of people will say that the cheaper vodkas or the cheaper whiskeys, let's just put it that way, the bar whiskeys, they'll get a hangover that they won't get with some of the other stuff. And
Well,
so if that's the complaint, then you won't really know until the next morning when she says, "Wow, I'm really hungover." And if it continues to happen, then she might suspect that it's not Kettle or Tito's or,
I know that with the hangover game, when it comes to whiskeys, the whiskeys that give you hangover more likely to give you I mean, look, alcohol dries out your system. That's why you get cotton mouth, and that's why you get hungover because your cells are deprived of water because the alcohol, like when you rubbing alcohol on your skin, you know how it'll drive it out. Well, just imagine you're ingesting that. So that's what it does. That's what causes the hangover. But with whiskey, the worst hangovers come from whiskeys that are made with sugar. So what we're talking about there is corn whiskeys, your Kentucky bourbons, your Jack Daniels, your Southern Comforts. Oh my God, nothing will get you hungover like Southern Comfort or Wild Turkey. And I learned that real early on, and that's why I drink. Like if
That's
I'm
what I had at the
drinking,
Bucks game. I had that Southern,
oh, how'd you
yeah,
feel the
11
next
little
morning?
mini bottles of Southern Comfort. I was fine.
Heartburn and anything with sugar. And that's why I drink Irish whiskeys because there's no sugar in them. And that's why if I'm sipping on something fancy, it'll be a scotch, like a good scotch, because there's just no
Dude, have you ever been to Ireland?
multiple times. What kind of
Okay.
question is that?
Well, 'cause you sure do bring it up a lot.
I love it.
So
It's my second favorite place on the planet. We got we got Iceland, Reykjavik only though. You don't really need to go off into the
into the
Brian
volcano
Joneses
that's
type areas.
erupting right now, yeah.
Is there do we got something going on in Reykjavik? We got an
Yeah, they got a
eruption?
volcano that's just flowing lava again.
Well, yeah, that island is a volcano. It's an entire that island is a volcano. That is
Yeah, well,
literally what it
someone
is.
needs to go throw a virgin in there or
so
something. It's gonna
fire and
explode.
ice right now.
Oh, I bet it's beautiful.
Okay, so it's Iceland and then
Iceland,
Ireland.
Ireland, and then London. Boom. Those are my top 3. I don't need to go anywhere else. I'd love to go to Australia. Too far though. That's way too far. I'd have to make like 5 stops. I can't be on a plane that long.
I like the chat rooms picked up the "You simply must go."
You simply must go. Iceland. Have you been to Iceland? You simply must go. I can't wait to take my kid. I'm gonna take my kid. That's gonna be the big trip we're gonna go on. We're gonna go to Iceland. We're gonna land there because I will not fly. I think I've discussed this before. I have no interest in flying transatlantic nonstop. Iceland is the perfect little place to stop off in the middle of the ocean. It cuts like a 6-hour plane trip down to 3. And then, you spend a couple of days in Reykjavik. You go looking for elves and trolls because they believe in those things there. And then you get back on a plane and you go to Ireland, and it's only like 2.5, 3 hours from Ireland. That's
All
not
right,
bad. I can do
who's
that.
from Iceland besides Bjork?
Who's from my Magnus for Magnuson, the world's strongest man? How about that?
Oh, yeah, but he was the world's strongest man like 20 years ago. Is he still up there, top of his game or something?
Oh, you just know he's got to be. And somebody named Magnus from Iceland is up at the top of the charts there.
That sounds very Danish, though. Magnus Magnusson.
Oh yeah. Well, the Vikings were the first people to go there. They were the first people to settle it. And so yeah, it's very, very the most beautiful women on the planet
But
are in
Bjork
Iceland.
doesn't look very Viking.
No, she's like there's like some Skimo mixed in there. There's like, you got the people who came from the other side, like the Asian side that got there. And so you got a lot of like dark-haired people with Asian-esque features, the eye like a Bjork, a Bjork, if you will.
Right.
But then everybody else is 6 foot tall and blonde with blue eyes. It's crazy. It really is. I went to a club in Iceland and I was like, is this South Beach? This is like everybody is gorgeous here.
Didn't you like interview Denise Richards in Iceland or something like that?
No. Shannon, we went to Iceland with her. We
The
didn't
one that played
interview her.
Nadia in
Yeah,
American
Nadia
Pie,
in
right?
American Pie. Shannon,
It's not Shannon Elizabeth, is it?
Shannon Elizabeth. It is Shannon Elizabeth. Yeah. Yeah. She just
And didn't you stay at like an igloo hotel?
No. We stayed at like a really nice hotel, which is probably why I like Reykjavik, because it's all based on where you get to go back
Right.
to.
This place is great.
This place is awesome. Yeah, we stayed at like this big giant international hotel that was over by the government section of Reykjavik, where you had like the Capitol and all these like cool things. But we did go to an igloo restaurant. We went to a restaurant and bar that is like only around. I don't know. They build it for the vernal equinox, which is
Today.
no, today is the autumnal equinox.
Oh.
The vernal is in the spring, but yeah, where all of a sudden it's been dark for 6 months straight there, and then suddenly the sun's going to come out for a straight 6 months, and you go out to it was the most disorienting thing of my life to be like, because we were doing a show their time, probably like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we get off the show at 6, and then we'd go to dinner. And then you'd start hitting the clubs, and then you'd go to more clubs, and then you'd go to more. I ended up in a brothel with a bunch of Russian mobsters. With remember Mark McEwen, the weatherman from from Good Morning America or whatever he was, the black guy that wasn't Al Roker, Mark McEwen, I think was his name. Anyway,
sounds familiar. Yeah.
Ended up in a club with him. We just said we wanted to go to a club, and he's like, I want to go to a club where there's some girls, and I'm like, okay, I'll work. That's where we're going. And they took us to like a Russian brothel. It was all
And we are friends, Mark McEwen.
Yeah. Oh, that was one of the best times of my life. I didn't engage or anything because
Sure, no. I just
trust me. Once we realized the caliber of it was like every bad guy from a Bruckheimer movie at the bar. You look at these guys and they're like, ooh, I'm going to be on our best behavior. But we all got really drunk together, and some of them were really nice. We had a good time. All right, so that's Iceland. So Iceland's a good time. I won't be doing that with my son when I take him to Reykjavik. But we'll go to Reykjavik, then we'll go to Dublin, and then we'll go to London.
All right.
And then he'll have all the same experiences that I have. All right, so you had the vodka question. So I've got a different question for you. I have a parenting question for both of you who are experienced parents, certainly more than me, who has been just a part-time dad for the past few years, who is now trying to get back in the swing of things. And it concerns fantasy football. So my son is a big fantasy football fan, right? He's a big football fan. He's a football freak, which I kind of enjoy because he's funny and he's dumb. And he thinks only good things started happening in the NFL past 2015. He acknowledges nothing that happened before 2015, because he's a kid. But he's got a dilemma. He's two quarterbacks on his fantasy team are Josh Allen, who he loves, who I know that you can tell me a lot about here, and you can advise me well on this one, sunglasses.
Right.
And his backup quarterback is Justin Fields, who is making his first career start on Sunday. And he's very excited about this. And he doesn't realize that, your first career start, and he's going against the Browns, who have, although an underperforming defense, certainly on paper, a good defense. So he's like, I'm thinking I might just start Justin. And I'm like, no. The Bills have the skins, right? Righty?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm like, no, you might want to just beg off that for a couple of weeks before we see, he's only been practicing. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4 days that he'll get to practice with the first team. He's never thrown to the first team receivers. He's been running the scout team ever since training camp. So you can't just, and he's doing well in his league because he's got Josh Allen. And I guess, did Josh Allen do real well last week?
Well, the Bills won 35-0. I didn't pay attention to Josh's fantasy points, but I'm assuming he did.
But he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league at this point. Certainly one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. And he's proven that. I mean, he got the big contract. But the kid, because, he's a kid and he just believes all the hype and he doesn't really understand that it's going to take a while. Josh Allen wasn't amazing in his first start. He got to get into it. It's very rare. Peyton Manning sucked his first year in the league. Troy Aikman was on a winless team, wasn't he? Or a 1-win team his first year with the Cowboys. I mean, you got to give it time. You got to let the kid sort of adapt. So here's the question for you, E. I decided
this is a parenting question or a fantasy football question.
Well, but that's how I parent. I parent through fantasy football conversations. But the question became, so I didn't want to, I was trying to build a case for him not to go with Justin Fields because that's our team. That's like and I don't want him to be like upset because he lost the week. And then suddenly it's like, there's stink on Justin Fields for him. Which I don't think there is, because all he does is watch highlight reels of him from Ohio State on a loop. So he's pretty sold on what he thinks he can do. But I don't know, because Justin Fields is going up against Cleveland's defense, which again on paper is pretty good, but they haven't been performing really great lately. And Josh Allen's going against the Redskins defense, which is third in the NFL. I mean, their defensive line, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Jonathan Allen. I mean, and we haven't even talked about their linebackers. I mean, that's a Ron Rivera has built a real. Their offense sucks. I mean, we know that, but that's a really good defense. So I'm torn. Who would you go with?
Well, I think your
And what would your
situation.
argument be? Because I think you should go with Josh Allen, but I don't know what my argument should be because he's like, but the Redskins have a good defense. I'm like, yeah, they do. I looked it up. I'm like, shit.
Well, I agree that the Redskins do have a good defense, but I think the reality of it is Josh Allen was okay in year one. He was in year two, and he got good in year three.
And then got the big contract.
And then he got the big contract. I think if you're having your first start in the NFL, the likelihood that you're going to just be lights out is
Or nil. It's
probably less than 50-50.
Zach Wilson for the Jets threw 4 picks this week.
Well, and then, what's his name? Trevor Lawrence has thrown some picks.
Well, he doesn't suck. He's throwing picks, but he's also throwing for like 350 yards.
And he's throwing from yards. But again, I don't think the Bears have the supporting cast.
No, their talent is good. They just haven't a quarterback who could get it to them.
We've
got great
Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is not as bad as you make him out to be, or as bad as Chicago's made him out to be, because they want Justin Fields to start.
Right, but no, don't get into this, because Andy Dalton is terrible for what the skill sets of the team is. The team has a terrible offensive line, so they need a mobile quarterback. Andy Dalton is a statue. Andy Dalton does not have the ability to produce to extend plays that can get it to his 5 receivers with under 4.4 speed, second fastest receiving core in the NFL. I mean, we've got talent. Our core, Justin Fields has 4.4 speed. So I see what you're saying, but don't bring that in. Andy Dalton's a good, decent field manager.
And the other question I have is, what team is he playing in his family league this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that is. See, I don't play fantasy football, so okay, that is key. That is very important. So that's something that I need to ask him, because I've never played fantasy football. I look at it like video games.
Really?
Yeah, never. No, I've been invited to millions of leagues over the years, and I'm like, no. I just feel like I don't want to root against. I don't want to root for, like, I would never be able to root for a Packer. I couldn't. I just don't want to play. I don't want to enjoy football on that level. I am perfectly happy with the way I have enjoyed football for the last 40 something years of my life.
Okay. So my non-parenting fantasy football question answer would be to start Josh Allen.
Right.
But that's with reservations and questions. Who is he playing? What's the other quarterback? What are the other quarterback options, the teams that he's playing, so on and so forth? And
look,
text him that right now. See if I can get that answer.
Let me tell you what I'm going real hard on Josh Allen for, is because Washington sucks. Washington's defense, whatever that stat you threw out there, just doesn't match the reality. I was thinking, didn't they do horrible? So in week 1 they lost 20-16, which that Herbert kid's really good. So holding them to 20 is not bad, but still they gave up 20, and then they gave up 29 against the Giants, and the Giants are no prom queen.
No. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well,
no, they were the 3rd ranked defense in the NFL last year. I mean, that's
the problem is
last year.
Offense is not good, and your defense is on the field for most of the game.
Gassed.
There comes a point in time, 4th quarter, where the defense is gassed, and I think that's what's ultimately going to play out, because Buffalo has a good defense. There is.
Oh yeah, one of the best.
There is no doubt about their defense, and so I would just say, if Washington does not have a good offense, and Buffalo's defense keeps the offense off the field, it could be a long day for their defense, for Washington's defense. Even though they're good, how many times can you shut down Josh Allen and Diggs and the other kid that we got? I forget his name right now. Number one.
You would have known it 20 years ago. Your brain just doesn't have room anymore.
Well, he's brand new on the team, but he's not brand new. Well, and then we got Beasley. So the reality of it is, I just think at this point I would start Josh Allen.
All right.
And Mason's going to get really irritated really quickly.
He's going to be here, so you'll see it. Oh, aren't you going to go watch the horse? Are you leaving this weekend, or what's?
Yeah, I'll be gone. Yeah, I was going to say that I'm not going to be able to do the show Friday afternoon, but I will be able to do the show Sunday evening.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, Emil's going to watch his horses, his ponies run. Where you going? Where's the trip? Louisiana or New York again?
Downs in Kentucky. I'll be flying to Kentucky, and then I'll fly home Monday.
Fancy.
Is that like a high five moment?
Yeah.
It could be a high five moment, but I try not to get excited because it's horse racing and anything.
That's how people lose fortunes, getting excited over horse racing.
Well, I'm not. No, at this point, I'm not betting on the race. I own the horse, so if the horse does well, then I win the part of the purse. If he doesn't do well, then it's just kind of a
wasted trip.
A wasted trip, exactly.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You only live once. They come back healthy, so you get another opportunity to race again. That's pretty much how it goes.
Is that a thing? Is that I know
horses get injured.
Right, but regularly? You stated that it's 50-50. The horse isn't going to have to be put down.
It's not regularly like you have to put them down, but they can pull tendons, they can chip bones, they can, bad things happen. And so you're just always concerned about them not being the quality the next race that they were the race before.
What's the name of the horse you're going to see? What's this one's name?
Do you want me to say that? Sermon.
I don't know. Is there a reason why you wouldn't? I'm just asking questions.
I guess not.
Pugs and Company?
Sermon on the Mount is the name of the horse.
Sermon on the Mount. Oh, I get it. Mount, like a horse. That's funny.
I didn't name him. He was already named when I purchased him. But yeah, Sermon.
All right. So let's get started on today's show. Obviously, we got to start with our Brian Laundrie. The search for Brian Laundrie continues. Did you see what'd you guys hear today? Anything new? What do you got? I got
lots of stuff today. I was like, today was much better day than yesterday.
Yeah.
So they're searching in the swamps again.
Nah, didn't they call it off again? I thought maybe just for the night. I think
they called it off for the day, but yeah, he's right. They are searching in the swamps again. They brought in divers, they brought in sonar, they brought in cadaver dogs.
And what'd they find?
They didn't find anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, he ain't there, man. That's a deke move. They're just wasting their time. I think the big news that came out today was the interview with the neighbor who talked about how 1 week after Brian arrived back home, so this would be somewhere like the 9th, 10th, 11th. I don't know. I got to check a calendar to see what weekend that fell on. But the family, they loaded up that. Well, here we got it. Well, let's listen to the. All right, here we go.
John Walsh has referred to the family as now the Dirty Laundries.
John Walsh, that is great.
John Walsh is here we go. What'd you say, James? John Walsh is great?
No, he referred to them as the Dirty Laundries. That's a good call right there, because that's obviously the connection we made too.
Wish we'd have thought of it. It's kind of obvious, though. It's hard to be like, that was our idea, because it's kind of obvious.
Sure. But we beat him to it.
We beat him to it by a good 2 weeks, I would say. All right, so here's
He's also doing a special tonight.
Oh, is he on what channel?
Whatever his normal program is, that crime, call in and tell John Walsh, and he doesn't record the conversations or tap his phone.
He's on a network a little more high profile than the one we're on. It's not really a network.
James needs to ship him his song.
All right, here we go. These are the laundry's neighbors, and I just have to tell you, these seem like just a couple of wonderful people. They seem like nice neighbors. Here they are.
They had gotten a camper
in the driveway.
Yeah, well, I
That
was doing
camper
some
right
work
there.
in the front yard, and I noticed that they got a new camper for the back of the pickup, and I didn't think anything unusual. They got a new camper, so they wanted to put their own touch inside of it. I saw them doing some work, and then when they prepared for their trip, I saw them loading the camper.
Now you're talking about Brian and his parents after he returned home. Is that correct? In a different camper?
Yes.
Okay.
The van is his.
This one, lady.
His father has a pickup truck, which they purchased a in-bed camper.
Like an attachment
That's it.
camper. So, and then you say
Yes.
that they packed up that camper, Brian and his mom and dad, and they went camping. Do you know that for sure?
We saw them.
Can I give the laundries a little bit of credit? Because absolutely nobody's giving the laundry credit for anything, and maybe they don't deserve it. They keep a nice property. Look at that. That's not a shithole. That's a nice property they got there.
Yeah, there's no dead patches in the grass.
No,
Not only
look
do they have
at
a greenhouse that looks like it's clean.
Look at that's a swimming pool. That's an in-ground swimming pool there.
Oh, that's right, the swimming pool room.
Cement pond. They got look at the shed matches the fence. I mean, there's some detail put into this. So
What I see there is that they're good at concealing things.
yeah, there you go. All right.
Saw them loading it up, and so I assumed they were preparing for a camping trip with their new camper.
They were going for the weekend.
Yes.
So how
Yeah,
long
it was-
after
it was-
after he got back, alone in that white van? How long after that was this when you saw them working on this other camper?
This dude has never been on TV before, and he doesn't exactly know what's happening right now. That's deer in the headlights, man.
Yeah, he's one step
And
away
get-
from that scene in Ricky Bobby where he's doing the I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. Look, these look like nice people. Although I don't know what the relationship is going to be with the laundries from this point forward. The probably
You know what? They could probably be psycho killers. They might have 3 bodies buried in their backyard right now. We don't know. We all got fooled by Brian on the traffic stop right outside of Moab. So,
Wait, were you talking about the laundries or these folk?
I'm talking about both. We got fooled by Brian Laundry in the body cam video. He seemed like the nice guy, and she was the crazy one. Well,
This broad could be a psycho serial killer. We don't know. They're good at concealing that. That's what.
yeah, that
does.
purple tank top looks sketchy to me.
Oh, mom. Talking about mom? No, mom looks like everybody's mom that I grew up
That's the one then.
with.
That's the trigger
Everybody
man
go
right
away
there. She
together.
got to look at that look on her face. That's the trigger man face.
No, that's the she's disappointed in you face. She's given that to kids in the neighborhood for 40 years now.
Yeah, I can't remember, the dates.
Week and a half.
Yeah, probably week and a half. I agree with that.
So
yes.
did the police ever talk to you about what you saw? You saw the parents and Brian working on this new camper and then leaving for a few days. Did they ask you about that?
I believe that we did give them that information.
We did tell them that they had
See how nervous he is? We believe we told them that. Come on, loosen up, Dad. My tip to him, pro tip, do a shot before you go on TV for the first
Yeah,
time.
this
Do a
isn't a
shot.
deposition, Ed.
Exactly. Just, loosen up a little bit. Maybe next time you pull out a couple of folding chaise lounges in the driveway, you sit there, you get comfortable, you have a cocktail, you sit down and you talk to the nice Fox News lady.
gone on a camping trip for 3 days for the
Yes.
weekend.
Did
Yeah.
you think there was
tell them
anything
that.
unusual
Yes.
about that?
Well, to
After
me,
we knew they were missing,
Yeah.
after Gabby was missing, when they came to our house on Saturday night a
Yeah.
week ago and told us they were working a missing persons case.
yeah.
Then,
And
yeah.
also, which struck me as I spoke to my
That's it. All right. The other thing that I noticed
No,
about
there's
that.
more.
No, it's not.
Yeah, there is.
Well, that's all we got. I just wanted to get to the camping stuff. Should I go rooting
Well,
around
she
for more?
asked him if he thought it was odd that they were going camping with a 23-year-old son. in that small camper.
What'd they say?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, probably just like that. Yeah. Okay, so this is again, this entire story has been a slow creep towards proving exactly what all of us have been speculating on for weeks, that the laundries are involved in this shit. We've seen it for over a week now, right? I mean, since certainly the Laundry family was not beloved by the American greater populace since refusing to talk to the police. But ever since last Friday, which will be a week ago now, or I guess it was 5 days ago now, um, ever since last Friday, we all have had this feeling, gut feeling, that they're involved in this, that they are culpable, that they're at the very least aiding and abetting. So, what do you make of the camping trick sunglasses?
Well, let me get this straight. You're going camping with a guy who just went camping with somebody that he didn't come back with.
You can That's a good point, but it is their son, so,
But still, I
no,
mean,
it
this
makes
guy's
no sense.
gone.
There's a
He
missing girl and you guys are going out for a weekend of leisure?
right. And
Well, it's
and and
also I'm
it
sorry.
doesn't come up in conversation while you're doing the same activity that you just did the week before.
Well, I think the parents. Oh, okay. So what you're saying that you're operating in this hypothetical you're presenting. You're operating under the assumption that the parents didn't know he killed her. See, I think he came home and immediately told his parents, "I killed him. I killed her. What should we do?" And that's when this whole thing. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I
but
think the
I
parents
mean,
knew
okay, I'm just imagining what he told the parents when he got home. If he
I
didn't
killed her.
tell him he killed her,
I
he
lost her.
said, "Oh, wow, we went on this camping trip and I really had a bad time. And, she told me she wanted to leave me and, camping was a real bummer. Oh, okay, son, we're going to go out and we're going to buy a brand new camper and we're going to put it in the back of our truck. And why don't you come with me and your mother and we'll get you happy about camping again?" I mean,
Why
come
so
on.
down, Charlie Brown? Come on, you and I, we'll go out and we'll catch some fish down at Lake Titicaca down there on the Everglades, just like we did when you were a kid. Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no sane sense, James.
Yeah, after you've just been camping since July 1st, what do you want to do when you get home? Go camping? I mean, it's total bogus. So it's probably a setup on him getting his butt to like Central America
Yeah,
somewhere.
like they set something in motion. This is not just an innocent camping trip to get your mind off Gabby. I mean, that's bullshit. That is so insanely unbelievable that
I don't think he came back in that camper. Like, if you're asking
Wait, wait,
me,
wait, wait, you mean the van? Oh, I see what you're saying, like, they went out so he's been gone for weeks is
he's
what
been gone for a while.
but I
Because
think
here's
neighbors
the
saw
here's
him,
the
right?
thing. So he then, after supposedly gets home, drives to then the Carlton reservation, leaves his silver Mustang there. The family then drives back on Wednesday, leaves him a note, say, "Oh, Brian, please don't kill yourself, blah, 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 blah." Then Thursday, they go back after leaving the note and pick up the car. And then Friday, they call the FBI and say, "Hey, we haven't seen him since Tuesday when he decided to go camping at Carlton Reserve. And we're really concerned."
So I
I,
like
I
what you're
think they
saying
give him
there.
a bunch of days head start, and they started with this
Weeks
diversion on
head start.
Tuesday. Right. But they started the diversion on Tuesday, and he was gone the weekend before.
Now, I had just been under the assumption that okay, so on the first he arrives home, and then according to the neighbors, it was about a week to 10 days after that when they went camping for the weekend.
Right. But before Gabby was reported missing.
Right. Well, that 10 days, that would be the 11th. It was like the
Roughly
weekend.
around then.
Yeah, the
Yes.
weekend she was reported missing is the weekend they were gone camping, according to the timeline established by the neighbors. Ed, is that what we're calling him? Was that his name? Ed, the neighbor? Okay. So that's interesting what you just threw out there because I hadn't really considered that Brian had been gone since they went on the camping trip. That when they arrived back home with the camper after a weekend of camping, Brian wasn't with them. I just assumed that he was there. I assumed he was hiding out in his bedroom. I think everybody did. Certainly the Northport or Point.
Port.
Northport police certainly thought he was in the
Isn't it
house.
Port?
Is it Port or Point?
I don't know. Petito,
Petito Patano.
potato,
I know.
patano. I
I
don't
got
know. It's
confused
all
there.
getting confusing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's interesting because, if in fact that is the case, then he's been laminate since the 11th, and it's now the 22nd. So instead of him just being gone like 5 or 6 days, he's actually been gone almost 2 weeks.
Well, I'd like to know if somebody saw him after the
Right.
camping trip.
Yeah.
And
I
why are we hearing about the camping trip today from neighbors that are across the street?
How did the police not know? Or did they know
Well,
and
they
just
did know
saying?
because he said they asked him about it a week ago, but they're not letting this information out.
Well, then why did he give it out on Fox? Why did old Ed stand in his
Because
driveway?
he's allowed to if he's asked by the news to do that.
So he's listening to his Fox News friends and not the police who asked him not to divulge it. That's
Well, I
what
don't
you're
know that
saying.
they
Yeah, but
asked
you
him
see
not.
on
He didn't
TV.
say they asked him not. They told him not to divulge it.
Suddenly I'm mad at Ed. If the police asked him not to divulge that for strategic reasons, now I'm mad at Ed.
But what
All
is the strategy? I mean, he's got to know that the FBI is looking. Anything that this guy hears, how is that helping him? He knows that everybody in the world is looking for him.
Bro,
I
I could
mean-
disappear. I could disappear. I would go to Guatemala or Belize or something, but I could disappear. I could make it happen.
How could you get out of the country? What would you do?
Okay, so the missing link, the only piece of information we don't have is what car did he take after he got to the preserve and they dropped off his car. So they got a car with, I don't know, the VIN number scratched off, or they've got a car for cash, or they got a car that they don't know is associated with the Laundry family. So he can go undetected, unpulled over, whatever, until he gets
So
to.
let me throw something out there in that regard. So yesterday we talked about the South Carolina Murdoch family, and we talked about how Alex Murdoch, the father, the lawyer, who's in all kinds of trouble now, he was a lawyer. And he went deep back into his legal files, and he found some degenerate that he knew that he could pay a couple of bucks to help him out with this assisted suicide. And I still have not seen any confirmation that Brian Laundrie's mother was a DA, other than it's been reported a couple of different places. Couldn't she have the same access to dirt bags that might have been willing to pick up Brian and take him somewhere? So
Yeah, but he wouldn't need to be taken. He doesn't need a chauffeur. He knows how to drive a car. He just needs the vehicle, and the fewer people that are involved,
okay,
the better.
so
So why
someone that
would
could
you?
get him a vehicle.
Yeah, so all you need is a vehicle. It could be from a cousin, it could be from a family friend, but it would be something that if the license plate readers that are on every state boundary on a highway,
Mm.
it wouldn't put up a red flag.
And here we are thinking he's out there walking around hoofing it barefoot, uploading death metal songs to Spotify.
Man,
And
if
he's
that
actually in a car right now, probably in central Mexico.
yeah, well, no, you don't go for Mexico, you go for Guatemala. You got to go to the next level down.
I want to
The
go for
other thing
Miami.
that's odd is we never have heard anything
Cuba.
about that image in the dark that we saw of the guy that looked like him with the backpack on.
Yeah, the deer stand
Yeah.
guy. He was debunked today. Police caught him, not him. Yeah,
Not
that
him.
was you
Okay.
saw that today, right, James? You were nodding
Yeah.
like, yeah. Yeah, that was the deer stand. He was caught by a deer stand camera in the woods, and it looked like him, and the police followed up, and they found the dude, and yeah, it's not
What
him.
about the other dude that was walking barefoot?
Oh, yeah, the guy in the rain that was walking barefoot? Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
And the
But
guy on the scanner last night.
the guy on the scanner last night was just a drug dealer who had the unfortunate luck of looking like a guy that all the police were looking for.
Dang, that
Yeah.
poor guy.
Wasn't him. In an apartment complex that is relatively close to the Carlton Preserve.
Well, I
So,
got to believe the FBI still thinks he's at the Carlton Reserve because you're not wasting all that manpower bringing in
Yeah.
sonar and cadaver dogs if you don't have some kind of a thought that he could possibly be there.
what do they know that we don't? What have they found out that we That's crazy.
Cell
I
phone
mean,
data. That's what
because
they
it
know that
just
we don't.
seems so obvious that he's not really at the camping spot where he was always known to go. I mean, wouldn't that be the last place you would go? Well, he hangs out at the reserve out there.
Well, what I think they know is that his cell phone is not on.
No, hold on, Jeff Glenn. No, we're going back 10 years with the DA thing. She quit her job, and then the husband quit his job, and they opened up a small business about 10 years ago. And that's when they moved to the house on Wabasso Avenue. Jeff said she wasn't a DA. She ran the family's
Right.
juice
A
company.
long time ago she did. But what I think they know is that the cell phone that he has is not on. Because you're not going out with cadaver dogs, you're not going out with sonar for the swamp if you're still receiving a signal from his cell phone. The same way that Gabby's cell phone was off for 14 days.
That
I
makes
think
sense.
this guy is off the grid and they don't have any cell tracking ability, because if they did, you're not putting those resources out. Now, could that be maybe a red herring for him? Like he thinks, they must think I'm not on a cell phone because they're
Yes.
sending out cadaver dogs.
So when he comes home and he and the parents and maybe even the lawyers involved, and they got to come up with a plan to get him out of here and get him to a non-extradition country where he'll be safe and can live out the rest of his days. They got to get him some resources. They got to get him some transportation. And if they're going to set up the red herring, not only are they going to leave the car at the preserve, but they're going to take his cell phone out into the swamps and just chuck it somewhere and let the battery slowly die. So the police are left chasing. Well, the last place the cell phone was pinged was whatever the
I agree with
coordinates
that.
are.
I think they've been trying to decoy the police to the Carlton Reserve, and the cell phone's not working anymore.
Right, and I'm kind of impressed. I mean, it's for horrible reasons, and their motivations are absolutely evil, but I'm kind of impressed that they were able to put this all together. If that's what's going on, and so far, that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
Brady says, did you guys see that pic of the sandal and the phone by the back door of the van in the video that was captured by the other YouTubers?
Yes, I did.
No,
I
fill
did.
me in.
Yeah, what is
that was in the Grand Tetons. That was Gabby's sandal and Gabby's cell phone, which had been off for 14 days.
Okay.
And so that was in the back where the van was pulled over on the side of the road. Her sandal was on the ground and her cell phone.
Jeff Glenn says, my theory is when the family went camping, the first thing they did was plant evidence at the reserve. Then they went and took Brian somewhere else. Yeah, I think that I guess you got to follow up, though. I mean, if you're the FBI, they still haven't named him a suspect. They still haven't moved up from person of interest, which, I'm no lawyer, obviously, but I mean, I don't know if there a legal reason for this, or, I mean, because the naming him, the way it was explained to me on WFLA when I was watching the live feed from in front of his house, the Florida, he was like some bigwig, former like attorney general or something in Florida, was talking about why it's important that they name him a suspect to be able to tap into the resources to be able to do. But however, if the FBI is involved, then that doesn't matter at the local level. The FBI has access to budgetary, amounts.
See, this is why that autopsy or coroner's report or whatever that we were talking about yesterday matters. Where like, does it matter the way she was killed? Well, yeah, if she was killed with bullet wounds,
no.
caliber gun,
does it matter that we know?
And...
James, does it matter that we know the way she was killed? Not that it definitely matters that the police and the investigators know. But my point was, it doesn't matter that we know. They're working.
Yeah. That also means that we can't put it together on our own and hold it.
Right. It's frustrating. I get that.
There was another report. So talking about stuff that came out today, there was another report that they had an incident. Gabby and Brian had an incident at a Mexican restaurant, Tex-Mex restaurant. They were having some kind of fight or something. And that's now, according to the FBI's report, the last time any other people saw the two of them together and alive.
Yeah, I have that story.
Where's this?
That was in Wyoming, and it was Jackson Hole.
They have good Tex-Mex in Jackson Hole.
Here's the story. So a couple from a lovely young couple, a financial advisor and his hot wife, were in Jackson Hole for a wedding, which means they come from money. Because if you come from out of town and you have your wedding in Jackson Hole, that means it's not a hippie wedding. These two were not hippie. He was a financial advisor. They had money, and they went to. It was a Saturday night. It was the Saturday night of 17th. I think they said. I could pull the story up, but let me just tell you from memory. This is what you're talking about, righty? And they said that they now realize that the guy who was harassing the waitress and arguing over the bill was probably Brian Laundrie, and that he wasn't, they described him, he wasn't violent, but he was very aggressive towards 2 waitresses and a manager in a dispute over what the bill was. And it got so bad that he went outside numerous occasions only to come back inside after cooling down. And then the final time that he went outside about the bill, Gabby actually had to calm the not calm, but talk to the waitress and the manager and apologize for Brian and his behavior and all of that. 27th. It was the 27th. It was the same day that the very last. You guys talk. I'll find the story. I'll find
Same day the last message was text to the parents.
Yes, it was the time. So, this speaks to Brian's mood on the last time there was contact with Gabby, that he was in a very agitated state. He was arguing about I don't know. I didn't have any drinks. Why is this? Whatever they were arguing about. But here's a question. And I thought about when I was reading this thing, because this Mexican restaurant, looked pretty nice, pretty decent. What are they doing going to restaurants? Shouldn't they be eating beans out of cans and frying wieners on a fire in the woods? Going to restaurants is expensive, especially when you're living out of your van and have been traveling, as basically vagabonds for 4 months, right? I mean, that's weird.
It does seem, again, out of character for people that are living out of the back of a van. But what? Then shortly after that, he offered him $200 to take him 10 miles.
Yeah.
That's a great point. So look, it sounds like he resourced up in that trip that he took back to Florida, where she stayed in Salt Lake City for 5 days. When he came back, it sounds like he has a little scratch on him where they were barely getting by beforehand. So
yeah, he couldn't afford a hotel room.
Yeah, and Gabby had to have
when
money.
He'd gotten pulled over on the 12th or 13th.
When Brian was back,
Gabby had money, or her dad paid for a meal.
Sent her money for food while she was in the hotel, and Brian was back in Florida. All right, here's the story. Gabby Petito case, couple claims to have spotted van. Okay, this ain't it. I'm sorry.
What's the name of the place in Jackson? I'm trying to find it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Okay. Gabby Petito, public blowout with Brian at restaurant, says possible witness. Now, that's not the way it was framed in the first one I heard, but whatever. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie had an aggressive public dispute days before she allegedly disappeared, and things got so bad the couple was booted from a Wyoming restaurant. This according to a possible witness.
Whoa, that's big. They didn't just have an argument at a restaurant. They got kicked out of a restaurant because the argument was so disruptive.
This is a different witness from the restaurant in Jackson Hole than the ones I described. The couple from New Orleans who were there for a wedding, they said that he wasn't aggressive and that they weren't fighting with each other, but he was fighting with a waitress. This is another woman named Nina Seeley Angelo, who was also at the restaurant, who is now confirming that, yeah, we saw them at the restaurant, but she's claiming this is new. Okay, let's see what this new to me anyway. A woman named Nina, I'm going to go CeeLo. Angelo says she and her boyfriend were at the Mary Piglets, a restaurant in That's not the same restaurant. It was a Mexican restaurant, the other one.
Yeah, no, it'll go on to say it's a Tex-Mex place.
Mary Piglets?
Is that what it's called? Mary Piglets? I thought it was called like La Hacienda or something like that.
No, the one I read called it, I was like, that seems like a weird name for Tex-Mex, but again, we're in Utah.
That is the name of the restaurant. Okay, so we're on the same story. A woman named Nina Cielo Angelo says she and her boyfriend were at the Mary Piglets, a restaurant in Jackson Hole, August 27th. That's the date. And spotted the couple in a blowout of a situation. All right, that's different than the headline, which says they were fighting with each other. This is a blowout of a situation, not a blowout with each other. Let's see how this develops. Angelo says Gabby and Brian were sitting at the table next to hers. Angelo claims Gabby was hysterically crying. New details, not the same as what the other people said. And at one point, Brian and Gabby were even fighting with the restaurant hostess before Gabby went out and stood on the sidewalk. Angelo says she doesn't know what started the fight, but thought it had to do with the bill. All right, well, that matches up with, what the other guy said. Brian allegedly came back into the restaurant several times, that matches up, to argue with staff after Gabby left. And Angelo claims he had an aggressive demeanor. Exact same words used by the other couple. Not violent, but aggressive. We called Mary Piglets to ask about the incidents, but they had no comment. They would not specify if they'd spoken to authorities, but Nina said she's reported all this to law enforcement. Brian allegedly returned to his parents' home. We know.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't
pretty
have
much
all these
all that I
pictures.
got out of it.
Yeah, okay, so this is a different person who was in the restaurant, who is giving similar details, but a way different spin. So now let me pull up the other people.
Yeah. So again, what we find out is they're eating out at a restaurant.
Yes?
No, but I'm saying that's odd. That's
What are you
Continue.
odd.
saying?
The other odd thing is that he's hitchhiking. He's left the vicinity of the van. Her body's found out in the middle of a field, and in between the middle of the field and where the van is on the side of the road, there's a forest and there's a stream.
Maybe this is it.
Look, here's something that I think about when I hear stories like this.
Okay.
I've been with my wife for like 14 years total. We've been married for 11. We've never been kicked out of any restaurant ever because we were fighting so loud. Not even once. Like it wasn't even no one's even called like the staff on us because we were ever fighting so loud in public.
E, have you and your wife ever been asked to leave somewhere?
As recently as the last improv when we saw Jeremy Piven.
Oh no! Would you
Mhm.
Jeremy Piven?
Yeah.
Drinks were flowing, fun was being had. That's all we'll
The
say
wife
about
had a couple, and she stood up and she yelled, "We love you, Jeremy!" And then she stood up. I don't know, a little bit later on, said something else that I was sitting there. I was like, that didn't really make any sense. And then he said, "What?" And then she said it again, and I was like, that still didn't make any sense. And
Yeah, they
then
got the 2-drink minimum, and you like to knock those back really quick, and then you got another 2 drinks,
duty.
and then another
and
2
then he said somebody needs a Red Bull.
Oh.
And all of a sudden the guy came from the hostess stand over. He goes, "I need to see you at the podium." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I walked over to the podium. He's like, "You need to go." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you need to go." And so we exited about mid-set.
Pugs, you've been divorced twice. Ever kicked
Yeah.
out of a restaurant for fighting with your significant
No.
other?
No.
I know.
Yeah. No,
So
we saved that stuff for the living room at home. We didn't really, we didn't take our dirty laundry, no pun intended, out into the street.
no, I can't. That was intended. It's okay.
It really
Hey,
was.
so they've already had the cops called on them because they were fighting so loud at an organic produce stand or whatever the hell that place was. And then the Tex-Mex restaurant just over the border in Wyoming, they're getting kicked out of there too. So
I
they're
wanna
down
find this.
there. And then there's also the Manic episode in Victor the day between there, or I guess it was just between, not the day between. It's the day before the Tex-Mex restaurant is when they're in Victor, and she's like, "We're engaged. We're getting married," to the shopkeeper as they're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the other story. We just read the story from the girl, right, who says that they were fighting with each other. Here is the other story. One of the last times Gabby Patino was seen alive involved an explosive argument between Brian and waitstaff. Not Brian and Gabby. This story says these witnesses say it was with the waitstaff. An argument between Brian and waitstaff at a Jackson Hole restaurant, according to a New Orleans couple who said they witnessed the spat. Quoting now, "I have chills." It's crazy because it wasn't just like we passed them on the street. It was a full-blown incident. She said she and her boyfriend, Matthew England, were in town for a wedding in late August. They were out to lunch at Mary Piglet's, there you go, a Tex-Mex restaurant between 1 and 2 p.m. when they said an agitated laundry began arguing with a waitress. 4.5 hours later, a travel blogging couple passed Petito's van at a campsite north of town. So, the van that we saw that was located near where the body was buried or where the body was found, those people filmed the van in that location 4.5 hours after this argument at the restaurant in town occurred.
Wow. So we've really tightened the window on
Yeah.
when it happened.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So she had her last supper
at Mary Piglet's.
at Mary Piglet's.
Hey, so I
It
just
was not enjoyable because Brian was making a scene. Brian was making it very difficult.
He's trying
Go
to get
ahead,
some
James.
free chalupas or something. I sent you in a Facebook message a link to the Google Maps. I dropped one of those little orange guys in the street, and it's looking at the Mary Piglets, and that's where the Last Supper happened, right there. You'll see where it's at. It's on like a strip that
So
looks
Yeah,
not to be
I can't open it on the computer that it needs to be opened on.
not
So
to be disrespectful or anything, but I would
yeah,
imagine
Twitter. Send it to Twitter.
her stomach contents would have the food from Mary Piglets.
Yeah,
ugh.
absolutely. She's a photographer. She said she couldn't overhear the conversation, but that she believed Laundry was arguing with staff over the bill. She described his body language as aggressive and said he left and returned about 4 times. At one point, Petito, Gabby, came inside and apologized for Laundry's behavior. A manager at the restaurant told the news that this business is super busy during summer and couldn't recall the incident. Local police and the sheriff's department deferred questions to the FBI, which declined to comment on the reports. She said she posted a detailed account on the scene on her Instagram and said she didn't think much of the incident at first. And when they flew home to New Orleans, Hurricane Ida hit and upended their lives. But after Utah police body cam video emerged last week, her boyfriend, England, a financial advisor, connected the dots and realized that the couple that was arguing in the restaurant was Petito and Laundry. He says to me, he goes, Nina, that was the couple fighting at the restaurant. And it stopped me in my tracks. I felt like the blood left my body. I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot about that incident. English told Fox News that he reported the incident to FBI and that Petito appeared visibly upset with Laundry as he hounded staff at the Mary Piglets restaurant. The incident happened roughly 2 weeks after Fox News Digital was first to report that the witness called 911 about, okay, blah, blah, blah. So there you have 2 different people who were in the restaurant, a couple from New Orleans and another woman. One woman says that they were arguing with each other and it was ugly. And then this other couple is now saying that they were not arguing with each other so much as they were arguing with waitstaff. So,
yeah, and unfortunately, a question was raised in the chat room. They said they did not have security cams, so they did not have the argument on tape. They were just going by people that were in the restaurant's reports.
Y'all, I've been walking around on Google Maps in this downtown Jackson area, and
nice.
Nice.
I told you, man, that's money in there. That's not a bunch of drifters like Brian Laundry, which is why I'm wondering, this Mexican restaurant in the middle of old downtown Jackson Hole, it's not a cheap place.
So they dropped the pin at Mary Piglets. How far is it from Mary Piglets to where the van was spotted on the side of the road?
Well, here, we can do that this way.
And can you show us?
Yeah, I can see that because I don't have the pin on my screen here, but I can tell you that, remember the incident at Victor just across the border in Wyoming is like 30 miles away, maybe 40 at the most.
Yeah, it ain't close. I mean, it's not.
No, it's like an hour drive.
Right. So you're not close. What I'm saying is they didn't go to a restaurant that was like 20 minutes outside their camp spot. They were out in the wilderness where that van, where the tourists from Florida who captured Gabby's van on the tape, that was pretty far out in the bush. They were in town, like I said, 4.5 hours later. So
this downtown Jackson is unbelievably nice. It looks like Six Flags. It looks like a football stage. It's like a movie set, like Pleasantville. Like there's no vacant stores, and all of them have been refurbished as of lately. Nothing is dirty. Everything is clean. Dude, all the cars are nice and new.
It's Jackson Hole. Harrison Ford lives there. There's a lot of celebrities that live in Jackson Hole. All right, so there you go. All right, so we're looking at this. Should we take a walk around town? Should we check out what's going on?
Where's Mary Piglets?
Right here. See the red flag? Yeah.
Go, dude. Definitely go. Drop right in front of Mary Piglets, and then go walk up around that little town square. If you go north a little bit.
All right. So there we go. Let's take a look at. Let's see what's happening there.
So it's enveloped by the bar next to it.
First of all, look at
it. I know it's amazing. You can see where they cut out the little way for the power lines to go up the hill.
I was thinking that was a ski slope.
Oh, it might be. I assumed it was.
Yeah, these are all ski slopes. See, there's more over here. This is where people come to go skiing. All right, so here's the Mary Piglets.
Yeah, the yellow place.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, just roll in. You can zoom on that. You got a roller on your mouse?
Yeah, I don't want. Why do I want to zoom? Okay, there we go.
See?
Now how do I get out? Now, I'm too close.
No, that's perfect. Look at that. You framed it right. This is the Last Supper. This is within 4 hours of her death max, right?
No, it doesn't. We don't know that that's her death. It's 4 hours. It's the last destination.
Since the van was spotted near the body site.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still don't know when the death occurred. She might have still been alive when just, he took her phone away from her. All right, so let's drive her out. Let's see what kind we got here.
Go,
Look at this darling little
yeah,
town.
go the other way. There's like a little town square that I swear to God looks like when you walk in the entrance of Six Flags. If they had a big carousel there, you wouldn't know the difference. Yeah, this way. Go that way.
Where do you usually go? Is it Vale or Aspen? Where do you usually go?
Vale.
You go to
Yeah.
Vale? You ever been to Jackson Hole?
I have not.
All right. I hear that's a very hot celebrity place.
Well, I mean, I've heard a lot about it, but I didn't think it was like
There's
an
an art
Aspen or a
gallery,
Vale.
Legacy Gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This little square, like there's a little park there to your left.
$1 Million
You just walk
Cowboy.
around there.
But you have some fun in there.
Heck yeah.
$1 Million Cowboy Bar.
All right. Look at this. Look at Starbucks. Got all the big corporates
Take a
in
left.
there.
This is great. Take a left. This is not even
You
believable.
want me to go left? We'll take a left down this way.
Yeah, that's where I went. So I know it's
Were you behind this truck?
no, I was coming the other way. But look at the cars that are parallel parked. Is there anything that's like a 78 Prism?
Yeah, not a lot of pieces of crap. All pretty much. I mean, look, some of these look like, that's a Jackson Hole car, towny.
Well, someone's got to work there, right? But
let's
That's a big crane. They're building something there.
that is a big
I
crane.
want to learn about Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Let's see.
Looks like they're building something that's going to be at least 3 or 4 stories.
Well, this is where the latest clues are, and this is where the clues that are closest to her death so far have been.
Let's see here. Where is it?
Yeah, and Jeff, it's not Jackson Hole. It's just Jackson. On the map, it's just Jackson. That's why in the conversations they had,
it's the same thing.
It's the same. It's one and the same thing, though, is what the girl said.
Yeah, Jackson Hole is the proper name for it, but the locals everyone just refers to it as Jackson.
I'm just telling Jeff that's what all the cool kids call it. Right?
Yeah. All right, Jackson Hole, originally called Jackson's Hole by mountain men, is a valley between the Gros Ventre and the Teton mountain ranges in the United States, near the border of Idaho. The term hole was used by early trappers or mountain men as a term for a large mountain valley. These low-lying, I don't care about any of that. Let's see. Settlement.
That is an odd name Tex-Mex bar. Mary Piglets.
I find it.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's a joyous name. I think it's a happy name. I kind of like it. Economy. Jackson Hole Airport is the largest and busiest commercial airport in Wyoming. I ain't saying much. The Jackson Hole Airport is also the only airport in the U.S. that is located inside a national park. Strict noise abatement regulations in the terminal's building's low profile allow for the airport to operate within federal guidelines inside Grand Teton National Park. However, it becomes difficult to fly in the winter months. Major airlines serve the valley with jet service, some of which is seasonal. In 2016, the Jackson Hole tourism website put up 20 live webcams of Jackson's town square. Now, you would think that the town, if Gabby and Brian were walking around, you might get some video of that from the town.
What's the prison in Wyoming?
I don't know.
Isn't that where he'll be headed if he's alive?
Well, no, he's because this is a federal crime now, so he'll go to federal prison. They'll put him in some federal.
No, it's not a federal crime if he killed her in Wyoming and buried her body in Wyoming and he didn't take the corpse across.
Well, maybe he killed her in a national park, though. That maybe makes it.
Oh, good point. Good point. It was on federal land, so it's a federal crime.
Sunglasses. Way to shut Parker down. That was very.
Well, I don't know. I'm just speculating.
That makes sense, though. All right. So that's we can pull out of Jackson Hole now. We want to drive around some more. I don't know if there's anything else for us to look at.
No, now we're just being morbid.
There's a nice little park.
It is super nice.
It is. Yeah, it is. They got some money. I know that some celebrities live there, but didn't say. I thought Wikipedia might tell us who the celebrities were that live there, but it didn't.
So again, trying to get into this dude's mindset. You're about to kill this girl and you're taking her to that restaurant? No.
Well, maybe a last meal.
Yeah, come on, but no. I mean, there's just nothing here that makes really any sense. It's fascinating.
Well,
All right, hey guys, here you go. This is why they have a nice downtown. This ranching community maintains its cowboy roots, but has a glamorous edge that attracts visitors and second homeowners, like Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. Remember when the divorce happened and Kanye ran to Jackson Hole? That's why I remember. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, Harrison Ford, Sandra Bullock, Brad Pitt, Pippa Middleton, Tiger Woods, Uma Thurman, and Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, those aren't just D-level celebrities. Those are big ones, man.
All right.
Yeah. So Jackson Hole's a nice place. Apparently, playground of the rich and famous. And it's where Harrison Ford. I also knew that it's where Harrison Ford is always rescuing people in his helicopter. You know those stories, right, James? Really?
He's
Am I
not
the
the
only
best flyer.
Well, people, you're talking about the crash
Yeah.
where he was considered an expert level flyer for not killing the people in the plane with him and surviving. That was like a real. See, I know all about Harrison Ford's flying exploits. He's supposed to be a really
He's
good
had more
pilot.
than one bad thing happen, I think.
If you've had more than one bad experience falling out of the sky and you're still around to walk around and talk about it, you probably pulled some Sully moves.
Yeah, I'm sure Jeff Gordon's had a couple fender benders.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I would say the amount of time he's probably flown to have that many couple incidents, it's probably high percentage. I don't know.
Jeff says that Jackson Hole looks like Breckenridge, Colorado. I just assume all those places look the same. You know, they all look, hills, ski lifts,
Little
beautiful,
westerny.
old was like Grapevine, Texas. When you drive down Main Street in Grapevine, Texas, and it's all like these old
Yeah,
time.
that's what it kind of feels
buildings.
like.
Yeah, except we don't have the cool mountains there in Grapevine. All right, we spend a lot of time on that. We can move on. We've got other things that we can talk about here. Let's see. What do we want to go into? I mean, there's honestly, we're going to have to wean ourselves off the tit of this story because I don't know that there's going to be any definitive answers, and we should really be doing other things on the show. Because at some point it's going to be like, guys, we just spent 15 minutes driving around Google Earth, Jackson Hole, for no reason other than to go, oh, yeah, that's interesting.
All right, so
need to find
something's been bothering me about the Murdaugh case.
Oh, and now we're back into the Murdaugh case. Okay, we talked about this yesterday. For those of you who weren't with us, the Murdaughs are a very powerful and connected family in South Carolina. One of the sons, who is, when I say sons, he's a grown-ass man. He's a man in his mid-50s. He's in a lot of trouble for embezzling money from the family law firm. He tried to fake his own suicide and got caught. He claims that he's an opioid addict, and there is a string of bodies that are connected to this family over the past 10 years. Most recently, his wife and son were murdered on the family property. So what were you thinking about?
Full disclosure, I don't like insurance companies.
Okay? No, you don't.
All right. So I'll just get that out front and center.
Mm-hmm.
Is it suicide if you hire somebody to kill you?
It is, because the guy is charged literally with assisted suicide.
Yeah. It's the Kevorkian law.
Well, you wanted an answer.
Yeah,
all right. So that I like your
just leaves us hanging with
like
nothing. He had no follow-up. He had no rant, no take,
I
no
do
nothing.
have follow-up. I do have follow-up. So if it is suicide, and that's what you guys both said it is.
Well, it was an attempted insurance scam by faking his suicide. The guy who helped him is being charged with the Kevorkian law, assisted suicide.
And you have a clause in your insurance policy that says that you have a suicide exclusion 2 years after your policy is in place, meaning that you can have a suicide in year 1, you can have a suicide in year 2,
right?
But you can't have a suicide in year 3.
That defaults back to a normal insurance policy where suicide isn't covered after 2 years.
How then can you be convicted of fraud for something that you don't have?
because he tried. You know,
But I'm
people
trying to do
but
something that doesn't exist. That's
okay,
not
well,
fraud.
do you wanna know what the charge is? It's called conspiracy to commit fraud. You don't have to actually commit the fraud. You don't have to rob a
I
bank or
can't
rob a
commit
building.
fraud because I can't get paid.
He conspired with another person. It doesn't it's conspiracy is a crime in and of
No, that's why
itself.
he paid the other guy, so it looks like a homicide, not a
Yeah,
suicide. It's not. We're not supposed to know that he paid the dude to come graze him in the
r
neck. It's
right,
supposed to
that all just
kill
this
him
whole story just got fucked up when,
Well,
when the
he
idiot
and
was a
he
bad
told
shot.
on
yeah.
himself.
What's that?
And he told on himself. Like
Yeah.
nobody knows that he tried to commit suicide if he doesn't go tell on the guy that didn't kill him.
Well, that's because they caught the guy. The police responded to a man who was shot on the side of the road. You're right. It's weird because that doesn't line up if he was trying to say it's a suicide because the police showed up. Remember, they brought in a care flight and flew him even though he had no visible signs. So they were looking for a guy who fired the gun at him. Cops found him like that because the dude's a fucking moron. And then they caught the guy and the guy spilled the whole story. They charged him with assisted suicide. And then while in rehab, because immediately following his release from I don't even think he went to the hospital for the supposed head wound. He checked himself into rehab for 30 days because what's the rule about rehab? Yeah, nobody can talk to you. You're over there getting yourself fixed. You can talk to your lawyer and you can talk to your doctor. And that's where they came up with this whole scheme. So, yeah, he's being charged, I imagine. Don't know for sure, but I imagine the charge on him is conspiracy to commit insurance fraud. But the other dude is actually being charged with it is. It's very convoluted.
It
You're not
seems to me
wrong.
like how can you get charged with conspiracy to commit something that you couldn't commit?
Because you were conspiring to do it. It doesn't matter if you were able to do it or not. Oh, you're saying legally speaking, it was
Yes.
not well, because he was
He
gonna
would have never gotten paid.
but he was
Okay.
gonna try and get paid, and I guess he's admitted
No,
to
he's
that or
not
didn't
trying
admit.
to get paid. He's just trying to kill himself. It would be my argument. I mean, I'm not allowed to maybe
Yeah.
try to
You know
kill
what? No,
myself.
you're absolutely right, because if it had just been a homicide, then the family would get paid, and there
Right.
would be no worry about 2 years. So you're right, this whole thing is so messed up. I have no idea. Maybe there must be some legal advantage to him now claiming, no, I was trying to. I hate this story. Do you know my mom sent me a text today wanting to know what channel the Murdoch docuseries I was talking about
I
was
mean,
on?
but
I'm
you
like,
see what I'm
real life,
saying.
not a
If
channel.
he's dead,
Yeah,
okay, then it's
Murdoch.
a
If
murder.
Murdoch is dead, then he
If
was
if
murdered,
he
and the
ends up
money goes to
dead,
Buck.
then it's a murder, and his
Mhm.
kid gets 10 million.
Right.
Because he lives, the insurance company wouldn't have paid.
You're right. Well, let's just forget about. Although the dude is charged, Cletus is being charged with
Attempted murder.
attempted suicide. I don't know. We heard his lawyer say, unfortunately, in the state of South Carolina, we have 2 years of a suicide. Was that a straw man? Does that mean nothing? Was he just throwing that out there? Because you're right. He was just trying to get himself whacked so that his insurance company would pay off as if it was a murder. It didn't
So
look
I don't
anything like.
understand what the suicide clause has anything
Yeah,
to
I
do
don't
with
either.
this.
I don't either. Why the lawyer? We heard the lawyer
We
lawyer is
did,
the
and
one who
that's what
said that.
bothered me all day. I was like, wait a minute here.
Yeah.
The guy's
You're right.
trying to
You're right.
off
You got
himself.
me
He's
thinking
not
about it. I
trying to
think you
commit
know.
suicide.
Yeah, that's good, man. Now I'm totally getting where you are. I thought you were just being crazy again. But no, you're absolutely right. That makes total sense. It wasn't an assisted suicide. Doesn't matter if the policy would have lapsed because he had a suicide clause in there. It would have been a homicide.
Right. And then they would have argued, oh no, it's attempted suicide, so we don't have to
Unless
pay.
unless he's somehow covering for the guy that he conspired with, because that guy facing an assisted suicide charge is probably less than facing a homicide charge.
I don't know. It seems to me like somehow the insurance company wins or they win. Like either way, they're coming out on the winning side.
I don't know what the hell's going on. All right, so that story, and again, that's another story that I don't know that we're ever going to have any kind of answers to. It's going to be another one of these slow creep, and we'll probably lose interest in it when the next big piece of detail comes out in a month or whatever, and then the trial or whatever. We just got to wait for the docuseries. We just got to wait for the Dateline special or whatever it is.
Yeah, I believe he's going to get charged with attempting to kill his wife, or killing his wife and killing his kid. Like I think that train is on the tracks. from what I saw from his attorney yesterday, and they're trying to get it off the tracks by going, "Hey, there's somebody else that we think did it.
Right, for
Well, tell us
personal
who we
reasons.
think that is." Well, I think it's personal. Well, the only person it would be personal against is the kid that died, killed the girl that was 19.
Yeah, and Mason should totally start Josh Allen.
Hold on, I don't for some reason I just got signed out of all of my work.
All right. Well, I'm glad I got that off my chest. That was bugging me all day.
See, there's something about these stories where you're missing some important pieces of information, and it's like some sort of low grade OCD that makes you want to know what you don't know now. Like, okay, the why. I need to know the why.
You guys need to talk for a few minutes between yourselves. My computer just crashed. So,
Well, I did think it was a cheap move by the attorney to go, so my guy called this hitman, and in 30 minutes, he's out there shooting my client, and he didn't even try to talk him out of it. He didn't even try to say, "Hey, man, are you sure you want me to kill me?" Like,
Well, how do you know? Is that proper hitman etiquette? You know, hitman etiquette. I don't know well enough to criticize them or not. What if that's just the rules? If you're a pro, you take the job, you do it.
yeah, I don't know. It's just odd. It's odd that he could figure out that was a blake. So because of that, my guy turned him in. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I also love how pathetic the ruse was that the Murdoch guy pulled over on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere to check to see if he had a flat tire. Like, oh boy, this tire sure is flat. And the guy's supposed to come up and pull up where there's no witnesses, just in the middle of nowhere, and shoot him. And he misses. Like, you don't actually have to do the drive-by. You can get out and you can do like the little 3-point stance, make a little triangle with your arms, and take your time, shoot him at point blank range if you have to.
And yeah,
How the hell are you missing this?
and then why don't you call him back and go, "Hey, dude, you missed. Come back and finish the job,"
Yes.
versus calling the police and then having the police call for the helicopter and then go turn the guy in
Yeah,
and
he
say
called the
that
police
you're
on
attempting to
himself.
kill
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
I
he
mean,
called-
the oh.
Also, how does he get in the helicopter? How do they even call the helicopter if the dude has no visible signs of injury?
Well, his attorney said he did.
Steve is pointing out that he did collect life insurance off his housekeeper's death. That was one of the other rando deaths that happened within the last 10 years of his life, where the housekeeper who raised the damn kids and been with the family for 25 years fell down the steps that she's been cleaning and working on for 25 years.
Fell down the steps.
So what
Fell
did
down,
he insure
tripped
her?
over the dog. Tripped over the
He
dog.
must have had a key man insurance policy on her
I don't
in
know what
order to collect.
That's a rich guy thing. What's a key man insurance policy? I don't know
Well,
what
if somebody's
Oh, I see what you're saying.
critical
One of the
to
help
your
guys, Pugs.
to your
Yeah, or your white hand
organization,
man.
then I guess that's the type of policy he had on her.
Wow, what if he just took that out on her without telling her because he knew he would need money sometime and could figure, well, I could probably make a cool $1 million off of her slip and fall.
Yeah, give Lapita a shove.
You
Because he was the only one in the house.
Yeah, but she's probably got to have a physical or something like that in order to get a life insurance policy on her.
All right, guys, let's talk about some other things. I'm wanting to get to this. I want to play a little game we got two. You guys tell me. We got two games we can play. We can play Better Fight or Which Hurt Most.
Ooh, both of those sound great.
Better Fight. And nothing that says we got time. We can get to both of these segments.
Which hurt most?
You want to do which hurt most?
Yeah,
Okay, a couple of videos. I was really hoping you would say Better Fight because there's one that we're going to spend a lot of time
Better
on.
Fight.
What do you think? This is a democracy.
I'm down with Better Fight.
Better Fight, and I'm down with Better Fight. You're overruled, James. Okay,
Sure.
We're going to do Better Fight here. I'm going to show you 3 videotapes of Americans behaving badly. We call them American vidiots. These are 3 separate fights. The first one we'll go with, these are a bunch of bikers in New York City and Brooklyn. They apparently spilled out into the street after drinking and partying at a bar, and here's what happened.
Bronx Tale? Is that what this is?
This is, yes, that's exactly what I thought, James.
You thought
Where's the mafia guys? This should have been a bunch of mafia guys beating. No, this is some sad biker on biker crime. All right, here we go. You see it?
Oh man.
We don't have sound though. So here, let me make it big for us, and then
Now
we'll
you
watch it from
can.
the beginning. A bunch of crazy dirtbaggy bikers. Ooh, you can hear the machine. Here we go. Okay. Oh, that dude's leg. He got rolled. All right. There's a bunch of just out of shape old men. All right. Yeah, you get the F out of here. Okay. So that's the first one.
Did you see that one guy
Which one?
in the
Which
corner
one? I
there?
saw a whole
His
bunch of
legs were
guys.
really wide, and he had the cowboy hat on, and he was going back and forth. He was looking to size up for somebody, and he just had nobody that was fighting him.
Well, nothing says we can't go back and watch it again. All right.
He's going
Are
to be
you
here
seeing it?
to the left.
We'll start with me. Cowboy hat guy.
Well, you never want to be the guy on the ground, do you?
Here comes this guy. Watch. Boom. Oh, that guy's legs got rolled.
This guy right here.
Where's the cowboy hat? Okay, so you just
cowboy hat. That's not
all right, so this guy, yeah, that's what I said. There's a bunch of old fat guys.
But look at how he's wide-legged. Like this is his fight game.
Yeah.
Good face. He's got a power base.
He doesn't want any of that. He wants none of that. All right, so there you go. Those are bikers in Brooklyn who apparently they're fighting with each other. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
I'll share it to you. There's a reason that one went first. You know how this works. We build up. We build up to the crazy. That was without. How about a little tailgate action, huh? How about them Cleveland Brown fans? Are they nuts or what? The dog pound and whatnot. Let's see what was happening over there. This is this past weekend. This is what I like. I watched a bunch of different versions of this. This is the one that I think works. Kind of gives you most of it. Here we go. This is what happened at a tailgate before a Cleveland Browns game. Let's see if we can get this.
It's so good right now. I got it so good. Oh, yeah, let's go. Get it. Get it, motherfucker.
That always happens. People don't know how to throw punches or land on their ass. Now, are you ready to meet the star of the video?
I got the video, bro.
Come on, where's the star?
Yo, let's go!
That guy. There's always a dude smoking a joint.
Yo, let's go!
Look at this guy. He don't care. He's enjoying the hell out of this.
That's somebody's son right there.
Oh!
One more time.
Is he the guy filming it?
Yeah.
No. Is he the guy filming it?
Yeah. He turned it on himself.
Oh, okay. All right. Now black guys, big giant muscle black guys.
Yo, let's go! It's about to be a riot.
There we go. Just when you think it's over, hang him at the tail. Someone worked all night last night on that.
David, get out of there!
Yeah, David.
Everyone chill the fuck out! David, get out of there! David, get out of there! Get out of there!
Yeah, David, come on. Take your head off this joint.
I
That
figured
one's
this was
certainly a lot better fight than the first one.
Oh, yeah. That's how you do it. You got to build them up. Go ahead, James.
I've never been to Cleveland, but based on just base stereotypes, I figured this is what happens on a normal day. This is like a regular Tuesday in Cleveland.
Well, it's interesting that you say you've never been to Cleveland because I know a place that you've definitely been to, and that would be here, the great state of Texas. And are you guys ready for the greatest fight that I've seen in certainly quite a while? Now, I'm a big fan of the World Star hip hop fights. I love all of that stuff. Uh, this is 4 minutes, and we are going to
What?
watch a whole, oh, yeah. It is
World
the other thing that's
Star.
great about this.
World
This
Star.
fight, when most fights end just when you think, well, what happened next? No, this fight. Here's how I would describe this. This occurred in a Texas IHOP between two parties. One party I call the T-shirt family because they're all wearing T-shirts, and the other party that is involved in the fight we'll call drunk club hose. Okay, so this is the drunk club hose versus the T-shirt family, and this is going to be important for you because when all the mayhem begins, you need to know who's on each side. In one side are just wearing club hoe gear, and the other side they're all wearing like T-shirts, like they're just having pancakes with grandma, right?
You have my interest, yes.
Okay, so here we go. This is an IHOP in Texas. Title: IHOP in Texas turns into a WWE Divas cage match, and it's pretty good. So here we go. All right, let's watch, shall we? Okay.
This one's fine.
Make me leave or not? I don't fucking thought you gonna make me leave?
Okay. See, we got T-shirt family here. We got
my.
Dad. Look at this one, right?
Well, she's a beast, huh?
You got plumber's ass.
But James, this is a lesson to be learned here. Don't ever think that just because they're big, they can fight. Because nobody gets their ass beat in this whole video quite like this chick right here.
Spoiler! Spoiler!
Look, Dad, Grandpa just wants him to sit down. We're just having pancakes with Grandpa.
Where the fuck is my plate? You're on keto.
Okay, so this is the T-shirt family. See, T-shirt family. That's
I already
T-shirt.
don't like them. Yeah.
Did she just say you're on the keto?
Yeah, something like. There's a lot of. Okay, you can't see the nasty club hose yet, but you'll see. You'll see what I mean. There is not a girl with a gym membership in this fracas. I promise you that. And we're also, and this is where it gets confusing. Seated across from Grandpa is another big gal, big hillbilly gal, but she's kind of wearing club hoe gear. So it's like you got 3 T-shirt girls, and then you got big gal wearing club hoe gear that you can't see versus these girls wearing club hoe gear. All right, let's watch how this plays out. So they're arguing. We don't know what they're arguing about. I don't know. Apparently the keto diet. By the way, this is mom. This is a mom right here.
I know.
Can I get some silverware, please? We just trying to eat.
Look at this mess. Every one of these girls is a mess.
Sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down.
All right, so here, okay, so guys, here
So
you
is that
get
daughter sitting mom down?
that. This is mom. This I'm guessing is grandpa maybe. This is daughter. This is daughter, and I don't know who this one is over here. This one hidden in the corner.
She's the X Factor.
It
Yeah,
looks
she
like
is.
management has just walked into the screen, though. Who's this guy in the black shirt?
Yeah, he looks. Yeah, he doesn't give too much of an effort here to break this up. That's what's so crazy about this fight that is about to happen because there is nobody in the restaurant trying to break it up. This girl, what this girl here does to this girl here is insane.
It looks like it's about 2:15 on the clock.
Oh, I didn't even notice the clock on the wall. Yeah. Are we thinking that's 2:15 in the
Or maybe
morning?
it's 3:15. I don't know.
Definitely, but we're thinking this. Although this might be afternoon, doesn't it look like maybe
Yeah,
a
it looks
window?
like it's light out there.
So these chicks are just running around rural Texas wearing club ho gear at 2:15 in the afternoon.
No, this is night, right?
Are you sure,
No,
James?
but
Doesn't
see the
that?
window? Looks
But
like
we
it's
don't know
light
that's a
out,
window.
and that looks like a shade that's halfway down.
It does look like a window, and it looks like maybe it's a cloudy day, or it could be any number of things. Okay,
How
let's
ratchet do you have to be to get kicked out of IHOP ever?
Oh boy, watch this.
Okay.
Seems to be settling down. Management is talking to club. Uh oh, look at this one. Here comes Hottie Toddy.
Can I get some silverware?
That's the second request for silverware.
Can I get my plate?
Yeah, there are customers trying to get their food. But, typically you don't get a floor show of this caliber when you dine in the middle of the afternoon at an IHOP in Texas. All right, so this is where it's all about to go nuts, okay? Now, here's what you're going to watch. I'm just going to let it roll, but watch right here. You're going to see something come flying over here. Here we go. All right. Oh, here we go. And it's on. Here we go. All right. Oh, here comes T-shirt Family Club girl. Oh, big girl is down. Big girl is down. Big girl is down. All right. Any thoughts at this point?
She's just Paul Bunyan chopping her back there. Just
she's throwing some hammer fists for sure.
The big, like 350-pound girl. This is the problem with like really. What? You don't think so?
No, she's probably like 250.
No way. Are you out of your mind? That girl is
she's 3 bills plus.
Okay.
Easy.
Okay.
Dude, I've been 250 and I wasn't that big. And besides, she's probably only about 5'8", 5'9". Well, let's watch again what happens to her. Because big giant girl goes after the little girl in the orange club gear, right? And it doesn't work out well for her because one of the things about we heavy people, we can't get all that stuff moving in one direction and then stop really quickly without toppling over. And that's what happened. And then it's on. Here we go. By the way, did you see by the way, this is the girl who starts it. Oh, no, it's not her. Maybe it's her. Yeah, her. This is the girl who starts it. She throws the chair. She throws the booster seat.
Ooh. Can I get some silverware? I'm Shani. Can I get my plate?
And here it comes. Boom. All right, now watch big girl. Watch what happens to big girl. Focus on her. And down she goes. Now, T-shirt Family Club girl gets handled by the other club girl. All right, so what we have going on here is member of T-shirt Family, girl who threw the booster seat. This is the girl who threw the booster seat. Look at big girl, too. Big girl's getting wailed on back there. So apparently, what's going on here? They got her hair, right? Isn't that what's going on? Like they're holding club girl's hair?
I think that's how the big girl went down. I think she had a side of her shirt or a side of her hair and kind of tossed her to the ground.
The hair is always such a weakness in these videos.
All right, gentlemen, let's play some.
Look at this guy holding his junk.
Yeah, holding up the phone.
Right. And then giving the sign
world star
because he's on the video.
All right. I got to ask you guys a question. We're at this stage of the brawl, and I promise you, look, it's a 4-minute video. We are only 2 minutes, 40 seconds in. Oh, no, we're only 2 minutes into it. Let me ask you, sunglasses, are we going to see boob? Is a boob going to pop out in this fight? Yes or no?
Well, because you asked, I will say yes.
Okay. James, will we see a boob?
Because you asked, I'll say yes.
God, you guys are gullible. Okay, let's watch. Let's see. Because, I'm just looking at the situation, and I would imagine that we're going to see multiple boobs pop out. These girls, look at the clothes they're wearing. All right, so dad is holding the girl who threw the booster. This is the girl. Classy tattoos, by the way. Booster girl is being held by dad. They seem to have her hair, which is why her head is in that position. Mom is holding her daughter, the other girl in the t-shirt who was fighting with this girl. Look what's going on over here. Nobody's paying attention to these two.
Grounded down.
Which is fun. Nobody's even paying attention. They're just doing their own thing. It's just nobody's trying to break it up. All right, now here comes Orange Club Ho. She's going to try and free her friend. See, the big girl's had a rough go. All right, now mom has daughter. Club girl and booster seat tosser are now. More for the big girl. Look at this. Look at big girl's face here. Big girl wants none of this smoke. She is done.
She was running her mouth just 30 seconds ago. She was one of the mouthy ones, wasn't she? She's the one who rushed from the table when the booster seat came over. She changed her mind. What happened?
She wants none of it.
I have not seen one person who's not morbidly obese, with the exception of this guy here in the black shirt.
This guy here?
No, in the back. The guy with his arms crossed.
Smug guy back there, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I pointed at. This guy right here.
I don't see your cursor.
Well, I think grandpa dad or whatever he is, uncle husband, whatever you want to call him. I think he seems like he's all right. He seems like he's in okay shape. But and mom, t-shirt mom, she's not, morbidly obese. Everybody else is though. And it's not stopping them from wearing their sluttiest club gear. Let's continue. All right. Because it ain't over. Trust me, it ain't over. I see. All right, no. No, it's 2-on-1.
They jumped her, though. Those two are 2-on-1.
Oh, and now he's freaking out with mom and daughter. Mom's.
Please, stop. Please, hold on. Stop, please.
World Star is right. All right, so now club hoes are being gathered. They need a breather.
Stop! God damn it! Stop!
Okay. So now we got 1, 2, and the third club girl is just out of frame. So the club girl's over here in the family. They went end of round 1. They've gone back to their corners. Okay. Now she wants more. Look at all these. Look at all these guts and. These are just disgusting, gross people. Look at what's going on.
Stop! God damn it!
All right, so did you hear that? Did you hear the mom yell, "My daughter's disabled"? Now, I don't know if she's talking about, she's like inbred disabled or disabled because of what just happened here. Because she got her ass beat. James, you know what I think when I see these girls, and you'll appreciate this? These look like the kind of girls that Eric, Mark, and Same P Mike would have dragged back to an after party after like a Saturday night in the clubs.
Oh, man, I know exactly what you mean, and that hits home.
Yeah, these are definitely these are Same P Mike and Eric back in the day speed. It's those kinds of girls.
Yep. That hurts, man. That hurts.
Let's let them play out. opportunity. Let me ask you this. All right, guys.
Yeah,
All right.
we know what
Which
you're talking about already.
Which one's the hottest? Which one, if you had
Oh,
to?
None of
God,
them.
dude. There's nothing hot about any of
None.
this.
No,
Even if they
you
were
have
hot, it's not hot. It's just
There's
You have to
so.
choose one. There's obviously one that's better than
Well,
the
then the
other.
red.
Oh,
No.
Pumpkin Girl?
I think so. None of them deserve to be wearing a midriff, though. Not one of them, but all three of
This
them
is just
are.
ugly. Like and I was upset at the guys in this thing, but I think they're actually trying to do the right thing, because what do you do when you have a bunch of girls that are fighting and you're a guy? You can't get really aggressive.
Crazy insane girls.
I mean,
And they're not really hurting each other. They're pulling each other's hair and doing these.
Oh, Big Girl got hurt. Big Girl took about 10 hammer fists, and then she got tag teamed by 2 sets of hammer fists coming at her. I think Big Girl's hurt. I mean, not like,
so how much more we got? How many minutes are we in? 3?
About a minute. Look at this. I love this guy. South Side represent. White Sox fan in the middle of rural Texas. All right,
I mean, aren't you rushing them to the door at this point? Like, if you are the guys in there, aren't you saying, okay, we got to go and take this fight outside if you're going to have
Yeah, that
to
was
fight?
fun, but I need a Denver omelet. Let's go.
You would think, however, we live in this overly litigious society where I'm sure managers are told by corporate that don't get involved, don't be someone, so who knows? Maybe they're just, that happens. Here we go. The Longhorn cook is now taking charge. I kind of like this one. If I gotta choose, I kind of like this one. I like her style. Well,
No, you don't.
I mean, I could tolerate her. No, I couldn't.
Chris, come this way. Before you get in the middle of this.
All right, it seems like they're making their way towards the exit. Oh yeah, look, Pumpkin Top is getting. Yeah, cops are coming. All right. Well, there you have it, gentlemen. We did not see any boobs. You both fell for the fake out like the North Point police and Brian's Mustang at the reserve. However, I have to ask you now, which is the best fight? The Browns game, the biker bar, or the trash at IHOP?
Trash at IHOP.
I don't think it's Abel. Which side would you? Now you are thoroughly, as the former host of the New You show and the man who popularized the marketing of lap band surgery in this country, you seem thoroughly disgusted by all of this.
Well, it's not because of their size. It's just because girls aren't supposed to do that. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like a whole gaggle of girls that were fighting, and a cheap shot on top of it, like a booster chair over the top. I don't know. I'm going to go with the better fight was the guys. I think the Browns was a better fight.
That was the greatest. That IHOP fight with these, and Leslie is absolutely right. Watching this made us all dumber. Although, like the Springer Show, I feel better about my behavior. I think that I could never be reduced to that kind of public spectacle, no matter how drunk I was. And I've been really drunk in an IHOP. And I don't think I would have reduced myself to that. But when women fight, man, women fights are different than guy fights. It's
I just wonder if the girl ever got her silverware.
What's that?
I wonder if the girl ever got her silverware.
There are two things that women do, and I think they do it with somewhere in the back of their mind going, oh, well, this is how men would do this. This is how men would go crazy. And those two things are fighting. When women fight, like guys, when guys fight, there really is at some point, a moment where they'll both want to calm down and friends will get involved and they'll move them apart. Women seem to go just completely ballistic and crazy and do like the most, they won't stop. They keep going because maybe they're trying to compete with the image of what a man would do or a bunch of guys would do in a fight. The other thing, bachelor and bachelorette parties. Bachelorette girls go way crazier at their bachelorette parties than dudes do at theirs. I've been to about a half dozen bachelor parties in the last decade, and they all consisted of sitting around getting drunk and playing cards with a stripper who comes. That's it. But you ever seen a bachelorette party? They go out in public and they get crazy. Their shit is like completely more extreme than most dude bachelor parties. And I think it's because they're overcompensating, imagining what the man is doing. They don't know that we're really just sitting there playing poker with the groom's uncle, who's like 70.
I'm with you. All right. So James was on the IHOP fight. I was on the Cleveland Browns. You rested on the IHOP fight.
Oh my God, that IHOP fight is one of the best viral fights that I have seen in quite some time. Okay.
Let's move to what hurts.
Okay, so now the next video segment that we will do, we're going to call this, this one's called Which Hurt Most? Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, come on. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is a quick one. So, oh boy. I don't know why this isn't. All right. All right, so hold on, I gotta make sure I get this. Okay, there we go. Let's make it big. Nope, can't make it big yet. All right, so this is the first one. Call this one Mousetrap Mouth. Guy trying to show how tough he can be, and something goes unexpectedly. Well, you should have expected it to go wrong, but let's see what this guy has happening. All right. Here we go. Can you see it?
Oh, God.
Mousetrap Mouth. Can you see him?
Well, it's a rough setup so far. Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Watch what happens. Oh. Oh. I mean, you can just watch the tooth get shattered. Do you know how much that hurts? I mean, I'm not talking about just the impact of the mousetrap grazing the tooth, but the exposed nerve that is now inside that tooth that is going to really hurt.
That OF is the best.
I know. It was really, all he was trying to do was just, show that he could allow a mousetrap to slam shut on his tongue. But the
he
tooth
never
thing
contemplated the tooth.
No,
that wasn't even an option in his thought process of what could possibly go wrong.
It went bad for him. All right, here we go. All right, so this next one, well, what did I call the first one? Mousetrap Mouth?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this one we will call, well, Emil, you've got a boat, and you enjoy, you enjoy do hijinks out on the boat, right?
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever taken a dive off your boat and into the water below the beautiful blue waters of Lake Louisville?
Well, they're not blue, but yes.
Of course, we do it all the time. We throw the ball to the boys, and they dive off the bow of the boat, trying to make these spectacular. All right, so let's see what these guys are doing some boat dives. Let's see how this works out.
I'm sure it'll go great.
Here we go. Here. Nice job. Nice job. This guy slipped.
Here.
Yeah.
I mean, okay,
They're
it would have
jumping
been worse.
over obstacles.
You can see his foot slip, and the minute his foot slips that he's not going to get
No, he
anywhere.
over that rope, I think.
Yeah,
Whatever.
there's a rope there.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's in front of the chicks too.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's watch this again. First two guys, they made it look easy. This guy, oh my God, that's like a punch to the stomach.
Here.
Splash, splash.
Yeah, he hit the rope.
He's trying to be cool. All right, there we go. That was the second category. That is boat dive
That
fail.
girl was really concerned about him.
She's also pretty cute.
That laugh.
I liked how the dude tried to act like it was no big deal. He totally did the pee-wee. I meant to do that. Like he got up and he was like, all right, I'm
Did you
fine.
see that patch on his chest? Was that a tattoo or was that like something that he did when he hit the rail?
I don't know.
That was
Let's
a
take a look at
tattoo.
this.
I saw it too. That was a tattoo.
We can get a look at it. I already crossed out of it, but we can take another look at it if we want to break this down a little bit more. All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
Here.
All right, right now he is shocked. Like his mind is like, am I alive? Is anything broken? He's doing all that processing that we do after we have an accident. And now the very next thought is there's a bunch of really cute girls that are watching that. I need to act like that didn't hurt and I meant to do it.
Right there, it's Tess.
Talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just hair. What do you think, James?
No, I think it's a tattoo.
One patch of hair right there.
Yeah, it ain't.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it looks right. Yeah, it's probably a tattoo. It looks like hair. It looks like he didn't shave that part of his chest, but you're probably right. That would make no sense. Look at me. Trying to think, I'm okay.
Here.
Splash of success. Splash of success. Nope. Was that his girlfriend? Did someone yell, babe?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
I love how he's just like, no problem. I got this. No worries.
And is that a
Yeah.
sailboat? I think that's a sailboat too.
I
Which is
despise
why the
sailboats.
rope is up there.
Look at it. Look at him right there. And the girlfriend, not as concerned as I would think. She's just like, it's more of a babe.
Okay, he's fine.
It's a babe, you're embarrassing me, not, oh my God, did he just cause some serious internal damage to his guts? Babe!
Here.
Splash, triple! All right. We have fun, don't we? We have fun. All right, here's the next one. This is another. Remember, I was talking about the big girl in the IHOP fight and how she, heavy set people. They have problem with their momentum. That it's almost impossible to be able to. They're like aircraft carriers versus a jet ski. Yeah, you can't turn an aircraft carrier on a dime, and the momentum just takes them into the iceberg or whatever the hell it is. Here's another example of that. This is. I don't know how much this would fail or would hurt, but it certainly is embarrassing. Okay, here we go.
It's gonna be fast.
Okay, you see this? You see these guys?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm guessing that they want to decide who's faster. Who you got in this race? Tell me, boys, who you got? You got right or left?
I
Man,
got
I
the
can't
guy
vote
with the turquoise on his shorts.
You going with left?
Yep.
Yeah, I can't vote against both of them.
Look at these breasts. Look at this. What is going on? Why?
It looks like an ad for Gravity.
I mean, just the way that the other guy has got his feet positioned looks like he's going to be slow out of the blocks.
Well, yeah, but the other guy has the calf tattoo, so he looks extra tough.
And this guy also, this guy looks like he's got a good 100 pounds on this guy, or maybe 50.
Right, but
this,
I mean, the way the guy's feet are pointed, he's going to run sideways first.
This is gonna be fast though.
all right. On your mark, get set.
I'm Usain Bolt. Usain Colt? Bolt.
Okay, ready?
Look
on
at
your
the
marks.
size of these.
Get set, go!
Oh,
This is gonna be fast though. I'm Usain Bolt.
I'm telling you.
Colt? Bolt.
Okay, ready? On your marks. Get set, go!
All right, so there you go. All right, so what's hurt more? I think this is an obvious one. E, you got
Mousetrap mouth.
You
Hands
give
down.
mousetrap mouth with the exposed nerve more than the guy who like completely racked his entire midsection from about a 5 to 6 foot fall. James, who you got?
The tooth kid.
Tooth kid? Tooth kid it is. Yeah. I think the exposed nerve. I've chipped a tooth before, and that is not a pleasant 24 hours that follows.
And he was the dumbest out of all three of them too.
I learned the hard way. I chipped my tooth on a Friday night when I was sleeping over at a friend's house, and I didn't get to a dentist until Monday. It was awful. It was the worst 48 hours. It's like exposed nerve. Oh, it was crazy. All right, guys, we got other things that we could do, but why, right? There's 5 minutes left in the show. Anything to say? Hey, James, you know what I'm watching? And we haven't really discussed this, but I'm watching the latest season of American Crime Story. You know, the people who brought us The People versus O.J. Simpson, which was like probably the biggest show of the year about 5 years ago. And then they brought us the Cunanan one, which none of you guys saw because I had to tell you about the guy who killed Versace on the air. That was the one 2 years ago. And you know what they're doing this year? You know what it is? You know what this whole season is?
Casey Anthony.
Impeachment. It's the Clinton impeachment. You got Clive Owen playing Bill Clinton. You got Edie Falco playing Hillary Clinton. You got you got Jonah Hill's sister playing Monica Lewinsky. Did you know he had a sister? Yeah, her name is
Has she been in anything?
Yeah. She's like famous on Broadway for.
So no.
Let's figure out what her name is. It's not Hill. It's something else. Yeah, I'll show her to you. All right.
So things I want to talk about.
Hold on.
What's up with the lesbians that got killed?
Jonah Hill's sister. What's her name here?
You know, it'd be nice if we knew the cause of death on Gabby, because if she has the same bullet holes, the same caliber bullet holes that the lesbians have, that would be a connection. But they're not telling us. Yeah.
Right.
Here, let's pull this up for
John
you.
Rich today on Fox News. Rich and whatever, the country singer.
Big and Rich?
Yeah, Big and Rich. He brought up the lesbians getting murdered.
Yeah.
He thinks that there could possibly be a connection.
He brought it up just like that, too. He basically just said, and what's up with the lesbians?
I said, what's up with the married couple? But yeah.
I said, that's Beanie Feldstein. Beanie Feldstein. I'm thinking Feldstein is the real name of Jonah Hill, because this is his little sister, Beanie. She's playing Monica Lewinsky. Yeah, there she is. There's the
doesn't look like a sister, though.
Close enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me they were brother and sister, and then and she kind of acts like him, like mannerism wise.
Yeah, but listen, if you're Monica Lewinsky, aren't you pissed? You're like, Beanie Feldstein is playing me? Jesus Christ.
No, totally honored. Monica Lewinsky is one of the executive producers of it. She checked off on everything.
She would rather have Olivia Rodrigo or whatever play her, or someone attractive, maybe Vanessa Hudgens or something.
I think Beanie Feldstein is attractive. She's a bigger woman, but she's definitely pretty. She looks
if
pretty.
You're a girl, that's not your first choice. That's not even in your top 10.
Well, I don't know. She's Jonah Hill's sister, so I did her. You know, don't you get about 50 pounds leeway when her brother's a famous dude, and you can go to things? You go over to, what are we doing tonight? I gotta go over to my brother's house. We're just gonna hang out. You want to come? Oh yeah. Will Paul Rudd be there? Probably.
So, question: why is there such a manhunt for Brian Laundrie, and there's not a manhunt for the killers of the lesbians?
And that's gonna do it for us. Sunglasses, you never disappoint. Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that. But anyway, I'm 2 episodes into the new season of impeachment. It's pretty good. It's really interesting, especially if you remembered that whole thing. I mean, everybody is. Last night I saw Vince Foster kill himself. It brings back all of the stuff from that era, man. It's crazy. It's pretty good. And yeah, Ryan Murphy, you know, the guy who does American Horror Story, and he did Nip Tuck, and he did People versus O.J. Simpson. And
I have another question.
Glee, he did Glee. Yeah.
What's trending on your police scanner thing tonight?
That is a good question. I almost at one point brought up the police scanner. Let's see. Do you think it'll be Sarasota County?
I don't know.
Because the place where there's the most interesting thing currently happening always leads the league on the police scanner ratings. So let's see. Sarasota County has been leading it for a while. Let's see who's. Hey, give me a second here. It takes a minute to load. Most popular. Oh, Indianapolis Metropolitan Police is the most popular. Sarasota County is number 2. So yeah, so it's still tracking people, but that means that there's really nothing been happening. Because if something were to break, if something were to suddenly happen, even a small thing, like somebody uploads a picture to Twitter of a guy who looks like Brian, all of a sudden Sarasota police
How
scanner
many
goes,
people are
boom.
following it was like 8,000 last night.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've seen over 100,000. Like when the riots were going on, like not Ferguson, but the ones up in the Twin Cities, there were hundreds of thousands of numbers. So that's not really a big number of people listening. Right now, we've got 944 people listening to the Sarasota County Sheriff's
So
Department.
down like 7,100 from yesterday.
Yeah, well, there's nothing going on. Yesterday, people thought, yesterday, remember, it went up. It was growing exponentially. It was 400 when I first looked at them. When we talked about it here, it was at 8,000. And that's because they had surrounded the apartment complex with the drug dealer who people thought was Brian. So they were all tuning in for that. All right, we're done.
Thank you.
James. Hey, open rules tomorrow. I'll send you a link every day. You show up, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not going to rope you into doing these things all the time.
You need him to show up Friday, though, because I'm not.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Can you commit to Friday? Can you help me out on Friday?
Well, I thought you were off on Fridays. I thought we weren't.
No, we don't do this
Daytime.
show. The Pillow Talk show we don't do on Fridays. But the noon show where we do topics, it
Oh,
would just be you and me.
Okay.
A little chemistry building.
So he's going to be gone?
Yeah, he's got to go watch his racehorse run at Churchill Downs.
Oh, that's right. Well, good luck with that, man. Good luck.
All right, figure it out. We'll talk later. No pressure. But
Go
like
make
I
some
said,
money, Emil.
Yeah.
I hope so.
All right, thank you, folks. We'll see you back tomorrow for the high noon topics, daily hot topics, all the things you're discussing around the water cooler and whatnot. We'll get y'all prepped up so you don't feel stupid when somebody says, hey, did you hear about? That's going to be us for us. That's James Parker. He's live in New Orleans. That's Sunglasses doing a Stevie Wonder. Very offensive. And I am Pugs Moran. This has been Pugs and Company on the Radio Misfits Network. Good night, everybody. Bye, James.